Have you ever just been stuck clicking and copying and pasting between different apps, thinking there has got to be a better way? Well, you're going to want to see this. Today, we're diving into a tool called n8, an automation super tool that people are calling a game changer, a beast, and, get this, a developer's dream. Okay, you really have to stop and listen when a developer calls something the holy grail. We're not talking about a tiny little efficiency boost here. This is someone turning a 3-day coding marathon into a 2-hour task. That's a massive leap, and it perfectly sets the stage for what n8n is all about. So you might be wondering, a holy grail? Really? I mean, the world is packed with automation tools. What makes this one so special? What's the secret sauce that gets people so fired up? Well, let's dig in and find out. You know, all the excitement around n8n really boils down to a frustration that I think we've all felt. You've got all these crucial apps you rely on, but they're all in their own little worlds, right? And trying to get them to talk to each other can feel like a total nightmare. And that's exactly where n8n comes in. This isn't just some random hype from Tech Educator Network, Chuck. It's the answer to that exact pain point. The promise here is huge. One single, incredibly powerful platform that can connect basically everything. Your email, your social media, even your company's CRM. All right, so with all that incredible praise, let's get down to brass tacks. What actually is n8n? Okay, first things first, it's pronounced n8n. At its heart, it's a platform for building, digital assembly lines. But pay close attention to that phrase, for technical users. This is so key. It's not one of those no-code tools that boxes you in. It's a platform that gives tech-savvy folks the power to build visually first, and then, and this is the magic part, dive into actual code whenever they need to. That's its secret sauce. So here's how n8n really stands out from the crowd. While other tools kind of lock you into these simple, rigid interfaces, n8n gives you nuance and flexibility. Instead of being stuck in someone else's cloud, you can host it yourself for total privacy. But honestly, the biggest deal is that last point. You can always fall back to code. You never ever hit a wall where the tool just says, nope, can't do that. So, that's the philosophy. And it sounds great, but let's get real for a second. How does it actually work in practice? I mean, a brilliant idea is pretty useless if it can't connect to the stuff you use every single day. Well, the answer is, oh yeah. It connects. With over 1,100 pre-built integrations, the odds are your must-have tools are already on the list. And for anything that's not, it has a universal connector, which basically means if an app has an API, you can automate it. Simple as that. And the process of building a workflow is just so intuitive. You start with a trigger, like a new email coming in. Then you just visually connect these nodes, which are really just your apps and little logic blocks. But the real magic, the real lifesaver, is the debugging. You can test each step one by one without having to run the whole thing over again. And if you need more horsepower, you just drop in a code block. It's simple, it's powerful, and it's incredibly flexible. And this quote just hits the nail on the head. It gets to the absolute heart of n8n. It's not about no code versus pro code. The answer is you get both. You can build visually when you want to move fast, and then you can grab your coding toolkit when you need that unlimited power. So naturally, this kind of power goes way beyond just connecting apps. n8n is also tackling AI, but they're doing it with a focus on what's practical and what actually works in the real world, not just what's buzzy. And I think this philosophy is so important. It's not about just plugging into some big language model and, hoping for the best. It's about building AI systems that are reliable enough to use in a business, controllable enough so you can prevent crazy mistakes, and ultimately useful enough to solve actual problems. And it delivers on this promise by giving you real, tangible controls. You're not just shouting a prompt into the void. You can build teams of AI agents, you can mix their creative outputs with hard and fast rules, and you can set up guardrails to keep them on track. And maybe most importantly, you can add a human in the loop, that crucial step where a real person gives the final okay. This is how AI goes from a cool toy to a trusted part of your workflow. And the speed this enables is, honestly, it's just staggering. Listen to this. An AI feature that was planned as a 4-week project was rebuilt in 10 minutes. That's not just an improvement. That's a completely different way of working.
Let's look at a real-world company, Sanctify AI. So their problem was they needed these really complex AI workflows that had human oversight, but they didn't have the dev team to build it all from scratch. So what did they do? With n8n, they just let their product managers build it themselves. The result? They had their first workflow up and running in 2 hours, which was 3 times faster than trying to code it in Python. Now, this level of power is fantastic, but it only really matters if it's reliable. And n8n is backed by 2 huge things: a massive, super engaged community, and an enterprise-level focus on control and security.
First, just look at the community. On GitHub, which is basically the home for all open source software, n8n has over 127,000 stars. Now, if you're not a developer, just think of a GitHub star as a massive vote of confidence from the best tech minds on the planet. It means this project is trusted, it's valued, and it's got a ton of support.
And beyond the community love, n8n is built for serious, high-stakes work. This means you get total control. You can run it on your own servers or even air-gapped, which means literally cut off from the public internet for maximum security. It meets tough enterprise security standards, and it's built to scale up for huge workloads.
And this is exactly why you see users calling it a beast and a dev's dream. It perfectly marries the raw power that developers crave with the kind of tight control and security that businesses absolutely have to have. But this might be the most powerful kind of praise there is. It's from the skeptics. When someone who has spent their whole life hating on no-code tools says that one of them changed everything, you know you're looking at something fundamentally different and just fundamentally better. And maybe the most definitive statement just comes from this power user. Sometimes you don't need a long, drawn-out explanation. Just calling it the GOAT, the greatest of all time, well, that pretty much says it all, doesn't it? So we've seen the power, the flexibility, the smart approach to AI, and the incredible trust the community has in this tool. As one person put it, anything is possible with n8n. You just need some technical knowledge plus imagination. It really seems to be one of those platforms where the only real limit is your own creativity, which of course leaves us with just one final question for you. What will you automate first?